In a world where beauty is currency, fame is the weapon, and wealth is the ultimate goal, Brenda Johnson had everything the world envied: wealth, beauty, and fame. To the world, she was the perfect influencer, a generous woman who lifted others up. But behind closed doors, her flawless life came at a deadly price. Every month, she sacrificed a young girl to maintain her beauty, her wealth, and her power. This is the story of Brenda Johnson, the dangerous baddie who thought she could control the darkness, but in the end, it would consume her. Welcome to African Tales by Golden, a home of interesting African stories. Brenda Johnson, the name everyone knew, the flawless beauty who lived a life that others could only dream of. At 32, she was the epitome of everything people craved for: wealth, fame, a picture-perfect smile that never seemed to fade, and a body that seemed untouchable by time. Her Instagram was a parade of exotic locations, designer clothes, and endless parties. Every post was a carefully curated masterpiece, a life that seemed so effortless, so enviable. But what they didn't know, what no one could ever imagine, was the horrifying price she paid to live this life. Behind closed doors, in the shadowy corners of her opulent mansion, Brenda lived a very different life. She had built her empire with secrets, each one darker than the last. Every month, a ritual had to be performed, a sacrifice made to the ancient goddess that granted her everything she had. Her womb, once the source of her womanhood, was now an offering, a price to keep her beauty and wealth. Every month, a young woman whom she had brought into her world and seduced with promises of luxury was chosen. They would become her pet daughters, live in her mansion, wear the finest clothes, and receive everything they ever dreamed of. But in the end, there would be nothing more than blood for the goddess. The ritual was brutal and chilling. She would drain them of their life force, using their blood and essence to sustain her beauty. It was a cruel and perverse cycle. And yet, for Brenda, it was the only way to keep what she had. But there was one more part of the sacrifice that made her shiver every time. Every month, she had to sleep with a madman. He was her darkest secret. The madman, a man whose mind had long since been lost to his twisted thoughts, was the final piece of the puzzle. Brenda had men loyal only to her, men who had sworn oaths of secrecy. These safety men, muzzled and imposing, walked in the shadows, doing her bidding without question. Every month, they were tasked with finding a madman, bringing him to her. They had made an oath to her, a blood oath. They were hers, body and soul, no matter what. They lived in the darkness, doing the dirty work of their mistress, never speaking a word about the rituals they performed. They knew what would happen if they did. Brenda stood by the grand windows of her penthouse, the glittering lights of the city stretching beneath her. She gazed at her reflection in the glass, admiring her flawless skin, the shine in her eyes, the perfect curve of her lips. But she couldn't ignore the knots of tension in her stomach, the ever-present reminder of the madness that lurked just beyond her gilded cage. Tonight was the night. She adjusted her dress, a deep red satin that clung to her body like a second skin, and turned away from the window. A knock echoed from the door. She didn't need to answer who it was. She knew. Enter. The door opened, and two men stepped inside, each one tall, strong, and silent. They wore dark suits, their faces masked with impassive expressions. They were her enforcers, her loyal soldiers in a war that no one outside her world could ever understand. One of them, a man with a scar across his cheek, stepped forward. "The madman is waiting for you, mistress," he said, his voice low and steady. Brenda's heart fluttered, but she quickly masked the emotion with a smile. It was a smile that made millions of followers believe she had everything except the one thing she wanted most: freedom from this cursed cycle. "Is he ready?" she asked, her voice smooth, betraying nothing of the storm within her. "He is," the scarred man replied. "The ritual is set. We have ensured no one can interrupt. He's as mad as ever, just as she preferred." She nodded, his eyes hardening. "Good. Make sure he's brought to me without incidents. And remember, silence. No one speaks of what happens here." The men nodded in unison, their loyalty unspoken but understood. They were bound by the oath. No one would dare break it. "Yes, mistress," they replied. Brenda turned towards the grand mirror, adjusting the hem of her dress, her reflection staring back at her. A goddess, a queen, a woman who could have anything she desired, but the reality was darker than anyone she could know. The men left the room, closing the door behind them. Brenda stood still for a moment, her breath shallow as she prepared herself for the night ahead. Each month, this ritual took more from her than just the woman she sacrificed. It took a piece of her soul, and with every passing year, she felt herself slipping further into the abyss. But it was the price of perfection. She had to maintain her beauty, her power. Without it, she was nothing, and the madman was the key. As the night wore on, she could hear the faint echo of footsteps approaching, the heavy thud of the men returning with their prize. She closed her eyes, feeling the familiar sickening tension settle in her chest. The door creaked open once more, and in he came, the madman. His wild, unkempt hair framed a face that was both terrifying and pitiable. His eyes were wide, unseeing, and yet there was something ancient in them, a flicker of awareness, perhaps, or just madness. He was the final piece of the puzzle, the price she had to pay. He would fulfill the ritual once again, just as he always had. "Come," Brenda whispered, turning toward him. "Tonight, we continue the cycle." As the door clicked shut behind them, the heavy silence of the room enveloped them both. Brenda closed her eyes, prepared to give herself to darkness once more. Brenda Johnson, Mama B, as her millions of followers affectionately called her, was a goddess in her own right. Her followers hung on to every post, every glamorous selfie, and every lifestyle tip she shared. They wanted to be her, live her life, be adopted into her world. And she knew it. Brenda had a way with women, young, impressionable women who dreamed of a life filled with designer clothes, private jets, and endless Instagram likes. She was the mentor, the fairy godmother, the one who could make their wildest dreams come true. But there was a darker side to her allure, one that only the chosen would ever discover. Brenda didn't just offer them for fame. She gave them the world. She invited them into her home, a mansion nestled in the heart of the city. The young women she chose, those lucky enough to be adopted by Brenda, were in awe of her every move. They would call her Mama B on Instagram, posting photos with her as they laughed at fancy brunches or danced at VIP tables in nightclubs, surrounded by bottles of champagne. She gave them access to the best clubs, the best shopping sprees, and the most exclusive restaurants. They felt like royalty, basking in her glow, convinced they had found a life that others could only dream of. Her followers showered her with praise, calling her the most generous influencer, a woman who gave young women the opportunity of a lifetime. "Look at Mama B, always lifting others up," they would say. And it was true, on the surface at least. But beneath the glitter and glamour, something darker lurked. Every month, when the full moon rose high in the sky, Brenda would choose one of the girls. She'd pick the one who had become closest to her, the one who trusted her the most, the one who believed in her vision. And just when they thought they were on the verge of something even greater, when they were basking in the validation of being her pet daughter, that's when Brenda's true nature came to light. None of them knew the truth. None of them knew that they were just pawns in a dark, twisted game. A game where Brenda's beauty and power came at a cost of their lives. The chosen girl would be led to Brenda's secret room, a place none of the others knew about. This room, hidden deep within the mansion, was her sanctuary, her sacred space. The walls were adorned with strange symbols, old and worn, their meaning lost to time. The air was thick with incense, the flickering candlelight casting eerie shadows on the stone floor. It was here that Brenda would perform the ritual. She would drug the girl, just enough to keep her sedated, unaware of the horror that awaited her. Brenda would whisper sweet things to her, like she always did, telling her how proud she was, how much she meant to her. The girl would smile, oblivious, as Brenda carefully tied her to the cold marble altar at the center of the room. And then it would begin. Brenda would make the cuts, the small incision to draw blood, the blood that would fuel her beauty, her power, her fame, and pour it in a glass. Brenda would drink the blood, her senses electrified as her skin tightened, her beauty restored with each drop. For a moment, everything would stop. The room would grow still, and Brenda would feel a rush of exhilaration, an ecstasy that was unlike anything else. The sacrifice was complete. The power was hers once again. The ritual was far from overdone. Her men, the silent, imposing bodyguards who had sworn an oath of secrecy, would leave the mansion that very night. Their mission: to find the madman. The madman was a part of a deal, a necessary piece of the ritual. In the stillness of the night, her men would comb the streets, searching for him. They knew where to look, among the forgotten corners of the city, the dark alleys where the lost souls wandered. And when they found him, as they always did, they would bring him back, and Brenda would do the needful to complete her ritual. When the morning light came, Brenda would rise from her bed, her beauty untouched, her face glowing once more. She would smile, kiss her reflection in the mirror, and prepare for the next day. The world would wake to the news that another pet's daughter had been sent abroad, off to finish her studies, to become a great woman just like Mama B. The world would believe it, as they always did. And just like that, Brenda would slip back into her role as the generous, beautiful, and powerful influencer who helped young women achieve greatness. No one would ever know the truth of what really happened behind closed doors. Another sacrifice, another girl lost to her greed, another night where money rained on her bed like a river, and she reveled in the excitement of it all. But the young women who wanted to be her pet's daughter had no idea. They wanted to be like Brenda, to live in her world, to be adopted into her empire of fame and beauty. They saw the glittering surface, but they didn't know the rot beneath. And yet, the truth of her life would remain her secret. The price she paid for perfection was one that no one would ever understand. The world would keep believing her lies, and the cycle would continue. Vanessa had always admired Brenda Johnson from afar. For years, she had followed her on Instagram, devouring every post, every picture of her beautiful life. Brenda was everything Vanessa wanted to be. Vanessa, still in her early 20s, had long dreamed of stepping into that world. She wanted to live like Brenda, wanted to experience the fame, the glamour, and the influence. But most of all, she wanted what Brenda promised her pet daughters: the chance to go abroad, to study, to become someone. She'd heard the stories, how Brenda would take these girls under her wing, treating them like family, offering them a life of luxury before sending them off to fulfill their dreams. Vanessa didn't have that kind of opportunity back home. Her family struggled to make ends meet. Her mother had always warned her, "Vanessa, all that glitters is not gold. How well do you know this woman you want to live with? Be careful, my daughter." Vanessa would smile at her mother's warnings, nodding in agreement, but deep down, she knew this was her only chance. She had no desire to stay in the shadows of a small life. She craved more, something that only someone like Mama B could offer. And then, the message came. Brenda had selected her. Vanessa's heart soared as she received a video call from Brenda herself. The glowing screen revealed Brenda's perfect face, bathed in golden light, her smile radiant and warm. "Vanessa, darling," Brenda's voice came through, sweet and soothing. "You have been selected to be one of my pet daughters. Congratulations, you deserve this. I see so much potential in you. You are beautiful, you are smart, and you're going to be so successful. Welcome to the family. Tears welled up in Vanessa's eyes as she fought to keep her voice steady. Thank you so much, Mama B. I'm so excited to be chosen. I promise I won't let you down. Brenda smiled, the warmth in her eyes almost palpable. I know you won't, darling. Now pack your things. You're going to live a life beyond your wildest dreams. Vanessa hung up the call, her heart racing with excitement. She had made it. She was finally going to be part of the world she had always dreamed of. But her mother was not thrilled. You don't know this woman, Vanessa, her mother warned. Her voice tingled with concern. All that glittering gold can blind you. I don't trust her, I'm telling you. Something is wrong. Vanessa sighed, trying to calm her mother. Mom, I know you are worried, but this is a chance for me. I understand that you want the best for me, but I'm an adult now. I'm 22. We don't have the money for university. This might be my only shot at a future. Please let me go. Her mother's face darkened with worry, but Vanessa was resolute. I have to go, Mom. This is my future. Her mother shook her head. I know this is a good opportunity, but I feel it in my heart. Something doesn't feel right. Please, my daughter, listen to me. You'll find another way. Don't go. But Vanessa, stubborn as ever, ignored her mother's pleas. I have to go, Mom. Vanessa did not listen to her mother. If only she knew what was in store for her, she would have listened. And so, with her mind made up, Vanessa packed her things, ready to leave her small life behind. A week later, she stood outside, her suitcase in hand, waiting. A black jeep pulled up in front of their home, and her heart skipped a beat. Kane, Brenda's imposing bodyguard, stepped out and opened the door. Vanessa, Kane asked, his voice cold but professional. Vanessa beamed, eager to finally start a new life. Yes, I'm ready. She placed her suitcase in the back of the jeep and climbed in. Her excitement palpable as the vehicle sped off. The city's lights blurred past her as they drove to Brenda's mansion, a place that only existed in her dreams. When she arrived, she couldn't believe her eyes. The mansion was everything she had imagined, and more. The sprawling estates, the marble floors, the expensive furnishings, everything screamed luxury. The other pet daughters greeted her warmly, excited to have a new addition to their group. They were just as beautiful as Brenda had promised. Young, lively, and seemingly happy to be in Mama B's world. The weeks passed in a blur of shopping trips, lavish dinners, parties, and endless social media posts. Vanessa was living the dream, surrounded by luxury and adoration, but something felt off. Each month, when one of the girls would be sent abroad, Vanessa couldn't help but notice the strange routine. The girls would disappear without a word. Their absence was never explained, and no one ever questioned it. But Vanessa did. She had started noticing a pattern. One night, she saw Sandra, a sweet white-eyed girl, call down to meet with Brenda. Vanessa had an overwhelming urge to follow, and so she did. Quietly, she slipped through the house, her heart pounding as she silently crept behind Brenda and Sandra. She watched as Sandra was led into the secret room, a place they had all been warned never to enter. Vanessa knew something was wrong. Hours passed, and Sandra didn't return. Only Brenda came out, a serene expression on her face. She couldn't understand what was going on. She went back to her room, thinking all night and couldn't sleep. The next morning, Brenda smiled at Vanessa and the other girls, announcing, Sandra has gone abroad to further her studies. She'll be a great woman just like all of you. The other girls were excited, but Vanessa's heart skipped. Sandra had never left the building. She realized in that moment that they were all trapped, locked in a gilded cage with no way out. She had seen it for herself. No one ever left unless Brenda or the bodyguards took them. No one ever went to the places they were told were off limits. Determined to uncover the truth, Vanessa decided to investigate the secret room herself. That evening, after Brenda left with the bodyguards, Vanessa saw her chance. The door was slightly ajar. Brenda had forgotten to lock it in her rush. With trembling hands, Vanessa pushed the door open. What she saw made her blood run cold. The room was adorned with strange symbols, and a dim light flickered over a dark altar. On the bed, piles of money lay scattered across the sheets. and in the center of it all was a small clay ball filled with blood. A statue stood ominously at the head of the altar, its eyes cold and unblinking. Blood-stained knives rested next to it, as if waiting to be used again. Suddenly, the statue seemed to move, and Vanessa's heart nearly stopped. Her eyes were not deceiving her. The idol twisted its head as if it were alive. Then a sharp voice broke the silence. "You couldn't just stay away, could you?" Brenda's voice was low, filled with venom. "Curiosity can be such a terrible thing, Vanessa. You couldn't wait for your turn to die, could you?" "How lucky you are." Vanessa tried to back away, but it was too late. Brenda was already there, her expression cold and calculating. "Don't worry. In time, you will join your predecessors, and I'll make it painless," she said, her smile twisted with dark amusement. Brenda quickly tied Vanessa to the altar. Her struggle was futile. Tears streamed down Vanessa's face as she cried out, "Please forgive me, Mama B. I didn't mean to cry. Please, I want to go back to my mom. I should have listened to her. Please, God, save me." But Brenda was unmoved. As she left the room, she locked the door behind her, leaving Vanessa in the cold, dark chamber. She was trapped, just like the others before her. In the silence of the room, Vanessa realized the terrifying truth. She was never going to leave. She was another sacrifice, another girl who would fade into the dark history of Brenda's twisted empire. And as the moonlight filtered through the cracks in the wall, she whispered to herself, "If only I had listened." Vanessa's mother had been praying every night. She sat in the dimly lit room, her hands trembling as she clutched the worn-out prayer bead. The worry gnawed at her like a constant ache in her chest. It had been days since Vanessa left to live with Brenda, and something felt wrong. Each night she prayed, asking for her daughter's safety, asking for divine intervention. She had heard nothing from Vanessa, no phone calls, no messages. Her daughter had promised to call, but the silence was deafening. The assurances from Brenda that Vanessa had gone abroad rang hollow in her ears. A mother's instinct was never wrong. Still, Vanessa's mother held on to the hope that she would hear from her daughter soon. But the longer it took, the more restless she became. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Unable to bear the uncertainty any longer, Vanessa's mother called Brenda once again. Vanessa had left Brenda's number with her. And though Brenda's voice was calm and reassuring, her words felt increasingly artificial. "Vanessa was selected early and has left for abroad," Brenda said smoothly. "She's going to do great things just like the other girls. You don't have to worry about her." But there was something in Brenda's tone, something too perfect that set off alarm bells in Vanessa's mother's mind. Brenda's words didn't match the look in her eyes. Her voice was too rehearsed, too cold. Still, she tried to trust Brenda. Despite the discomfort gnawing at her insides, she had to trust her. She was supposed to be a mother figure for my daughter, she thought. But her heart refused to quiet. Something is wrong. Something happened to Vanessa. I know it. The goddess, dark and ancient, sat upon her throne in the shadowed depths of her sacred temple, her eyes glowing with ethereal light. Brenda stood before her, kneeling, her body tense with the weight of the goddess's demands. The goddess had grown impatient. "You have made a mistake, Brenda," she intoned, her voice slow and commanding. "Vanessa must be sacrificed now. Her blood must be spilled tonight to appease my anger. There is no more time to waste. Your beauty wanes with each passing day. Your power weakens." Brenda's breath caught. She knew the goddess's wrath was not to be taken lightly. The goddess's voice rang out again, this time with an edge of finality. "Take her blood. Bathe in it. Drink it. Let it fill your veins so you remain beautiful. The flesh of your sacrifice must be consumed for your power to grow. Only then will you remain untouchable, rich and famous. The goddess's blessing will be yours forever." Brenda's eyes flickered. She had already gone too far, too deep into the darkness. Brenda nodded, feeling a wave of cold fear wash over her. This was it. Vanessa was going to die tonight. Brenda began the ritual with cold precision. She cut into Vanessa's body, drawing blood from the soft skin at her wrist. The blood pooled in a clay ball at her feet. Brenda bent over the ball, her fingers trembling as she cupped the liquid, drinking deeply. She felt the power surge through her. An intoxicating wave of strength and vitality. Her skin tightened, her beauty restoring itself with each drop. The wealth and influence she had accumulated would remain hers. Brenda cut into Vanessa again, carving pieces of flesh from her body. The act was sickening, but Brenda had no choice. She had to consume it. With trembling hands, Brenda prepared the meat, mixing it with herbs and spices, turning it into a grotesque dish. She ate slowly, savoring the power it gave her. The energy surged through her, making her feel invincible. Vanessa, cold and lifeless, was now just a tool, a memory that would soon fade, like the others who had come before her. Brenda Johnson was glowing, her skin was flawless, her beauty restored, her wealth more than she could have ever dreamed. The sacrifices, the dark rituals, the madmen, all of it had worked to perfection. She had done it. She had managed to outwit the world, and for a while, it seemed that nothing could tear down her empire. Every month, she continued her routine, choosing a new pet's daughter, luring them into her life, showing them the world they had always dreamed of, and then taking their lives in the most gruesome of ways. She would sleep with the madman at the end of each month, always following the goddess's command without hesitation. And the world, blind to the truth, adored her. She was a beacon of success, a symbol of what could be achieved with beauty, wealth, and charm. But something began to shift. Every night, when Brenda closed her eyes, she was haunted. Vanessa's spirits, tormented and vengeful, appeared in her dreams. The girl who had once been so full of life now stood before Brenda, her eyes filled with blood and sorrow. "Why did you kill me, Mama B? Why did you kill me?" Brenda would scream, waking up in cold sweats, her heart pounding in her chest. "No," she would cry. "No, this isn't real. It can't be." She couldn't escape it. Each night, Vanessa's spirit grew stronger, her cries louder, until Brenda could no longer sleep in peace. The haunting presence of her latest sacrifice would not let her go. The realization hit her. She could not escape the consequences of her actions, no matter how much power the goddess had granted her. In desperation, Brenda decided to go to the goddess's chamber, the only place where she felt she could find solace. As she entered, she fell to her knees, her hands trembling in fear. "Mistress, something is happening," Brenda pleaded. "Vanessa is appearing in my dreams every night. She's crying, asking why I killed her. What do I do?" The goddess, calm and resolute as always, responded with icy certainty. "Do not worry, my child. You know what must be done. We must tie her spirit. In the next full moon, you will bring 2 madmen. Sleep with them both at once. And when you are done, kill them. Drink their blood. It will strengthen you to banish her spirit." Brenda nodded fervently, though fear gnawed at her insides. "And then, take their blood to where you buried Vanessa," the goddess instructed. "Pour it over her grave and say the words I tell you. I tell you, O spirit of Vanessa, from this day forward, we have no business anymore. You are dead, and the living and the dead have no connection. So stay where you are and don't come to the land of the living again. Do it at midnight," the goddess said. "This will bind her spirit to the earth, and she will never bother you again." Brenda was determined to rid herself of the torment. "Yes, mistress, I will do as you have instructed." The goddess's voice softened. "Do this, and your nightmares will cease. You will be free of her, and you will remain beautiful, powerful, and untouched by any force." The night of the full moon arrived, and Brenda prepared herself for the ritual. She gave the command to the bodyguards, "Bring me 2 madmen. We'll do this at midnight. Make sure no one disturbs us." Her guards obeyed, and when they returned later that night, they brought 2 madmen, tattered, wide-eyed, and mad with insanity. They were nothing more than vessels to complete the ritual. Brenda wasted no time. She took them to her chambers, and just as the goddess had instructed, she performed the act and killed them both, 2 madmen. Their blood mixed with the power she had long sought. Once the blood was spilled, Brenda drank deeply. Feeling the power surge through her once more, the ritual was complete. At midnight, she made her way to Vanessa's grave, the cold night air heavy with the tension of what was to come. With trembling hands, Brenda poured the blood of the madmen onto Vanessa's grave. She spoke the goddess's words aloud, her voice breaking the silence of the night. "I tell you, O spirit of Vanessa, from this day forward, We have no business anymore. You are dead, and the living and the dead have no connection. Stay where you are, and do not come to the land of the living again." The rain began to fall heavily, and thunder split the sky, but Brenda didn't care. She turned and left, running to her car, desperate to escape the chilling storm. The next day, Brenda tried to act as though nothing had changed. She went to a glamorous social event with other rich influencers, her outward appearance still perfect. The camera snapped away as they always did. She was smiling, chatting, basking in the attention, but in the back of her mind, the nagging feeling of Vanessa's presence wouldn't leave her. It wasn't until the evening, when the event was in full swing, that the nightmare came crashing back. Vanessa's spirit appeared in front of her, her ghostly figure materializing out of nowhere. "Why did you kill me?" she demanded, her voice scorching through the noise of the crowd. "Why did you kill me, Mama P?" Brenda's blood ran cold. She couldn't breathe. Her legs shook as she stumbled backward, her voice breaking. "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be dead. I tied your soul. I killed you. I did it." Her voice was frantic, the panic rising as the crowd watched in confusion. One of the other influencers stepped forward, concerned. "Brenda, are you okay? What are you talking about? Who did you kill?" That was when Brenda realized herself. "No, it's not like that. I've been having nightmares, so I must have bloated something that I didn't even know." Brenda's mind raced. She was losing control. Her perfect facade was cracking. Vanessa's ghost stood before her, holding a cane, a sinister glint in her eyes. Without warning, she swung it at Brenda, the cane connecting with Brenda's body, hitting her over and over again. "Confess, Brenda! Confess what you did to me!" Brenda screamed, her voice hoarse, breaking under the pressure. I'm sorry. I killed you. I killed you, Vanessa. I killed all of them." The crowd gasped as Brenda began to confess everything. The cameras rolling for the live broadcast captured every word, every tortured moment. "I killed them. I killed the girls. I took them in. I gave them the life they dreamed of. And then I sacrificed them. I drank their blood. I ate their flesh. I killed Vanessa too. I drank her blood. I ate her body parts." Her voice cracked, tears streaming down her face as the truth poured out in front of the world. Vanessa's mother, watching from home, heard Brenda's confession on live television. Her heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. "Oh my God, this evil woman killed my daughter," she screamed, her voice breaking with grief. Neighbors rushed in, trying to console her as she fell to the floor, crying out in disbelief. As Brenda's confession echoed across the event hall, the influencers and celebrities in attendance were left speechless. They whispered to each other, unable to comprehend the horror of what they had just witnessed. The truth was too much, too dark for them to fathom. And then, suddenly, Brenda snapped. She screamed in terror, her sanity breaking apart. She ran from the venue, her mind unraveling, her beauty fading with every step. She was mad, completely and utterly mad. The other girls in Brenda's mansion fled, running for their lives. The bodyguards couldn't stop them. They had narrowly escaped the horror that had been happening behind closed doors for so long. As Brenda ran towards the streets of Lagos, her mind twisted with paranoia, visions of Vanessa's ghost following her every step. The whispers of her tortured spirit filled her ears. The city buzzed with news reporters covering the story. The world was now aware of the horrific truth. Brenda's madness only grew worse, and soon her body was found lifeless, her mind broken beyond repair. The news spread like wildfire across the country. Brenda Johnson, the woman who had once been a symbol of wealth and beauty, was dead. Her empire had crumbled, consumed by her own dark secrets. Her story became a lesson for the world. Not all that glitters is gold, and the price of beauty, fame and power is often far too high. For young girls who dreamed of being like Brenda, the truth was a chilling reminder to be careful what you wished for. Vanessa's mother, though broken by the loss of her daughter, found some peace knowing that her child's spirit would finally rest. And the world would never forget the story of the dangerous Baddie who thought she could escape the consequences of her actions. Thank you so much for watching African Tales by Golden Family. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, Don't forget to subscribe, like and share with your friends. Your support means the world to me. I love to hear your thoughts, so please comment below. Do you think Brenda's beauty and fame were worth the price she had to pay? Could you ever imagine making such a sacrifice to stay at the top? Let me know in the comments. And remember, every story here is a journey, so keep your eyes open for the next one. Bye!